Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I'm Mujibur Rahman again inviting you to join my English second paper class of class 9 and 10. This class is helpful for the students of class 8 also. My dear students, you have noticed that the choice sentences are written on whiteboard. First one is I say my prayer regularly, and the second one is my prayer is said by me regularly. Can you imagine what kind of difference between the two sentences, or what is related to the sentences? My dear students, follow. Here is the present form of verb and here is the past participle of verb, and before the past participle form of verb here is an auxiliary verb. My dear students, so some of you can imagine that this is the passive form of the sentences and this is the active form of a sentence. So my dear students, our today's topic is voice change. Voice change. My dear students, at first we have to know what is voice. Can anyone say that what is voice? We know that voice is a form of formation. The voice is the formation of verb of which something done by itself or something is done by subject. Can you understand, my dear students? I am saying again, voice is a formation of verb by which subject does something or something is done by the subject. Clear? My dear students, now come to how is it possible? Follow. The subject has done. I say. Subject has done something, and but here prayer is prayed by the subject. That means in a voice sometimes subject can do something or sometimes something can be done by the subject. My dear students, in this choice sentence we can say that two kind of voice. One of is active voice and another is passive voice. My dear students, what is active voice and what is passive voice? In the definition of the voice, I said you, when the subject can do something and sometimes something is done by the subject. So, when the subject does something, it is called the active voice. Can you understand? When the subject does something is called the active voice. Now, what is passive voice? In this situation, in this way, we can say that when something is done by the subject, it's called passive voice. Can you understand? when something is done by subject is called passive voice. My dear students, now I can say, or you can ask me, what is the structure of active voice and what is the structure of passive voice? Thank you. The structure of passive voice, active voice, active voice structure: subject plus verb plus object, then plus dash 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 or extension. In brief, in an easy language we can use here plus others. Others. My dear student, this is the active form of passive of voice. But this is the structure of assertive sentence or statement sentence. And what is the passive structure of assertive sentence? At first we have to write, what is that? Object of subject. Subject of object. At first we have to write the subjective form of object of the active sentence, and then we have to write auxiliary verb. In brief, we can write it in this way: AV. AV means auxiliary verb, and then verb 3. What do you mean by verb 3? When we talked about the verb, I told you that the 3 forms of verbs: present form, past form and past participle form. Verb 1 is the base form of verb, verb 2 is the past form of verb, and verb 3 is the past participle form of verb. So verb 3, and then what we have to write here? We have to use here by as a preposition, or for, or by, for, or to. And then object of subject. Can you understand it? My dear student, now if we want to write a sentence according to the structure, what will we have to do? This is not appropriate for all the sentence, so we will discuss about the main form of the sentences. Subject such as he reads a book. And this structure, subject of object, that means object a book, auxiliary verb is, then the past participle form of reads, read, and then preposition by, and then him. Can you understand? My dear student, this is subject. This is AV, that means auxiliary verb. This is verb 3. This is preposition by, and this is object, subject, object of subject. Object of subject. My dear students, can you understand it? Now, you may have a question why we use here is. In the main sentence there was no auxiliary verb, but in the passive sentence we use here a auxiliary verb. Why and how? My dear students, how we will have to use auxiliary verb, and we have to use the subject of object. Sometimes we have to use the object of subject. So we need to know the subjective form of pronoun and the objective form of pronoun. My dear students, so we know that subject and object. My dear students, we know that there are three forms of personal pronoun, but here we discuss only two forms, because to change the voice, or for changing the voice, we need only two forms, subjective forms and objective forms. So we need to know the subjective form and the objective form. Subjective form: I, we, you, he, she, they. And the objective form of it is me, us, you, him, her, them. Can you understand, my dear students? But if there is used any name of person, any name of place, or any name of anything as a subject or object, for changing the sentence from active to passive, at that time the name won't be changed. Can you understand, my dear students? Suppose Rahim writes a letter. My dear students, this is subject, a noun, and a letter, this is also noun. If we want to change it into passive sentence, at first we have to write the subjective form of object, but this is noun, its subjective form and objective form is the same. So we have to write at first a letter. According to the tense, we have to use here writes, is, written, and then by, then rhyme. My dear students, follow. This is a name of a person and this is a name of a thing. It's a noun and it's also a noun, so it won't be changed when we change the sentence into passive form, because the subjective form and the objective form can be different only for the pronoun. So we have to use the subjective and objective form only for the pronoun. My dear students, come to the next point. I told you how the auxiliary verb came into the passive sentence. My dear students, at first we have to notice the hot sentence is the sentence, hot tense the sentence is. If the active sentence is in present continuous tense, we know that in present continuous tense there is an auxiliary verb after subject am, is, are. But in the present indefinite tense there is no auxiliary verb. But when we changed into passive sentence, we have to use an auxiliary verb. So, in which tense, which auxiliary verb we will use? I am giving you the list of these auxiliary verbs. My dear students, if the sentence is present indefinite tense, at that time we have to use in passive sentence am, is, are as auxiliary verb. If the sentence is present continuous tense, we have to use am being, is being and are being. If the sentence is in present perfect, we have to use have been and has been. If the sentence is in present perfect continuous, we have to use have been being and has been being. My dear students, if the sentence is in past indefinite, we have to use was, were. For past continuous, we have to use was being, were being. Past perfect, only had been. Past perfect continuous, had been, been. My dear students, we know that there are 12 tenses. Firstly, 3 present, past and future, and then all the tense are 4 kinds, such as indefinite, continuous and perfect. So, for future indefinite, shall be, will be. Future continuous, shall be being and will be being. Will be being. Future perfect. Shall have been, and will have been. Future perfect continuous. My dear students, can you imagine what will be the auxiliary verb of future perfect continuous tense? We have to add been after this. Shall have been, then we have to add been. Will have been, then we'll have to add been. So it will be shall have been being, and it will be will have been being. My dear students, have you got all the auxiliary verb for passive sentence? I think you have got. My dear students, now we will go to change the voice. How we will have to change a sentence from active to passive. My dear students, I give you the 12 tenses auxiliary verb, and I think all of you have copied it in your notebook. So now if we want to go to change the voice, or now if we go to do the activities, what will we have to do? At first, such as I teach you English. These sentences, what will be the passive form of this sentence? My dear students, such as we have to use at first the object, subject of object. English is taught you by me. Or you can change it that you are taught English by me. That means here is twice object, you and English. You can start the passive sentence any one of them. You can write as a subject you, or you can write as a subject English. So, my dear students, now how I changed it into passive. Number 1, step of word. That means when we change the voice from active to passive, we have to do some activity. Some activities. First, what is the first activities? Use object as subject. That means the object of active sentence you have to use as a subject. That means here I have used English. And then activity number 2. Then use AV. Do you know the meaning of AV? AV means auxiliary verb. Use AV according to tense. According to tense. That means if the active sentence is in present indefinite tense, we have to use am, is, are. If the sentence is present continuous tense, we have to use is being, am being, are being. In that way, we have to use auxiliary verb according to tense. Then number 3, use V3. V3 means the past participle form of verb. Number 4, rest words. If there is a extension word after the verb, we have to use here after verb 3. And then number 5, we have to use preposition by, for, or to. Number 6, use subject as object. That means we have to write the objective form of subject, objective form of this subject. This is the activities for changing the voice. If we follow the step of these works, we can change the voice easily of 12 tenses. We no need to learn on by another tense for changing the voice. If we follow the rules, if we follow the step of this work, we will be able to change the sentences from active to passive easily. My dear students, I will discuss about the rest part of the voice in the next class. Till then, wait for the class, and God bless you. Thank you very much.